Mayhem's Dawn of the Black Hearts is a live bootleg vinyl record that became popular and rare for the wrong reasons. It includes a 1990 Mayhem concert recorded in Sarpsborg, Norway, and the album has, in my opinion, the most atrocious and hardcore cover in the history of metal music. The album cover of Dawn of the Black Hearts is a photo of the band's dead singer Per Yngwie Ohlin after his suicide. The photo was shot by Mayhem's guitarist Euronymous when he found the body before calling the authorities. Dawn of the Black Hearts was released in Colombia from Mauricio Bull Metal Montoya, who was Euronymous' friend. Although most of the time I show the album covers, this time I won't. Instead, I'll tell you the story behind Dawn of the Black Hearts, and I leave the conclusions to every one of you. My name is Yannis, and I'm the founder of the Vinylom Marketplace. In Vinylom you will find hundreds of thousands of metal vinyl records and more from a lot of reliable sellers that are located all over the world. Either you are a professional or not, you can sell your records or CDs in Vinylom and increase your sales in a new upcoming music marketplace. I will gladly help you if you need anything. Moreover, in Vinylom's channel you will find a lot of metal vinyl stories, reviews and more videos about metal from vinyl records. Also, you will find a lot of videos about the vinyl record culture. The record we will discuss today has a dark and sad story. Let's get into it. The album cover of Dawn of the Black Hearts shows the dead Per Yngwie Ohlin, better known by his stage name Dead and nickname Pele, who on April 8, 1991 shot himself in the head with a shotgun. The suicide took place at the home where the Mayhem members lived. The photo was taken by Euronymous himself when he found Pele dead and lying on the floor. It is said that Euronymous took bits from Pele's skull, from which he made necklaces for a close circle of friends and members of the black metal scene to wear as a tribute to the dead singer. Mauricio Montoya was also said to have received such a necklace, along with copies of the photographs of the dead Ohlin taken by Euronymous. Bass player Jörn Stubberud, or Necro Butcher, because of the way Euronymous handled Pele's death and due to some other events, decided to leave Mayhem and was replaced by Burmus Vak Vikernes, who murdered Euronymous 2 years later. Several years later, he has still been quite annoyed by the attitude of Euronymous. In 2019, in an interview with Revolver, he said among other things about Euronymous. Imagine that somebody you think is your friend coming home and finding your other friend killed themselves and took pictures of their dead body. Who in the right mind would do anything like that? Everybody should have a little bit of intelligence to know that that's gotta be somebody completely stripped from empathy and normal emotions. According to Necro Butcher, Pele was a thinker and a quiet person. He was suicidal already from childhood, and according to what he knew, he said that when Pele was 10 years old, he had a near-death experience after an ice skate accident. He was dead at arrival at the hospital and he came back to life. Since then, he was fascinated about death. But according to Pele's brother, Anders Ohlin, and with what he mentions in the book Blood, Fire, Death, The Swedish Metal Story by Aika Johannesson and Jon Jefferson Klinsberg, this experience was a result of other things. In autumn 1982, Pele started with the 7th grade in school. Estranged from his old classmates and being a special kid, he had to suffer the constant bullying of his new classmates who wouldn't accept something so different. Since his old classmates couldn't study for him, one day Pele was so beaten up that he ended up in the hospital for several days. This is where the near-death experience is placed. As a musician, Pele was a frontman that took his role very seriously and always walked the extra mile to give the necessary theatricality that was needed to make his stage presence interesting. From the beginning of his career, he was known to wear corpse paint, which involved covering his face with black and white makeup. Pele wanted to look like a corpse. He didn't do it to look cool. Jan Axel Blomberg, also known as Hellhammer and Mayhem's drummer, claimed that Pele was the first black metal musician to use corpse paint. Hellhammer had also said that before the shows, Dead used to bury his clothes into the ground so that they could start to rot and get the grave scent. He was a corpse on stage. Once, he even asked us to bury him in the ground. He wanted his skin to become pale. When in April of 1991, Pele killed himself, next to the body was found the following suicidal note. "Excuse the blood, but I have slit my wrists and neck. It was the intention that I could die in the woods so that it would take a few days before I was possibly found. I belong in the woods and I have always done so. No one will understand the reason for this anyway. To give some semblance of an explanation, I'm not a human. This is just a dream and soon I will awake. I was too cold and the blood kept clotting, plus my new knife is too dull. If I don't succeed anything to the knife, I will blow all the shit out of my skull. Yet I do not know. I left all my lyrics by the Let Good Times Roll, plus the rest of the money. Whoever finds it, get the fucking thing. As a last salutation, may I present Life Eternal. Do whatever you want. Pele. I didn't come up this now, but several years ago. Dead. Like I said earlier, Euronymous sent photos of dead Pele around the whole world. Mauricio Montoya used the photo as the cover for Dawn of the Black Hearts, released in 1995. Mauricio Montoya is a legend in the Colombian extreme metal community. He's not still alive. He died in 2005. He was a drummer and the founder member of the Massacre band and had participated in several bands of extreme sound in Colombia, such as Aggressor, Emin, Ekhymosis, and more. He was the owner of War Master Records. He had very good relations with record companies and members of other bands outside of Colombia. He also had very good relations with Euronymous. He was a pioneer of the spread of metal in Colombia, as well as the spread of Colombian extreme metal out of the country. It is said that Montoya was the reason that helped Euronymous shape the early black metal sound of Mayhem. According to the article in El Tiempo, Bull Metal is said to have been a key factor in Mayhem's sound development. He brought him into contact with extreme sound of bands such as Parabellum, Blasphemia, and Reincarnation. And after that, the Mayhem from a Venom cover band evolved their sound into what we all know at the first period. In '95, and after Euronymous had been murdered by Varg Vikernes, he released the live Dawn of the Black Hearts vinyl. The photo of the album cover of Dawn of the Black Hearts shocked the entire world. No one knows if Euronymous before he died knew the album would be released by Bull Metal. There are different versions of what's happened in Colombia. However, since none of the parties involved is alive to confirm it, they may have no value. Dawn of the Black Hearts was reissued several times in bootleg form until 2019 was officially released as live in Sarpsborg with Best Sound and Necro Butcher on the cover. Something that makes the whole story stronger and the facts that happened after the body was found by Euronymous is the selling of an authenticated letter with a piece of Pele's skull. In 2018, Serial Killer Inc. Marketplace sold a letter that, according to the site, Euronymous wrote to Tamas Vamosi, manager of the band Tormentor and also an importer for Euronymous record label Death Like Silence. The letter was reportedly written 5 days after the suicide of singer Per Dead Olin, and it includes a bit of his skull. At the end, the letter closes with the following text. Okay, that should be all. I'm enclosing a little piece from Dead's cranium in case you'd like to have it. Hear from you soon. The letter and the bit of the skull went on sale at $3,500. The Dawn of the Black Hearts vinyl pressed into 300 copies in Colombia, and the highest price that had been sold till today is $700 from an American seller. That seller said at the listing's text that from the 300 copies, at least 100 were destroyed at the German border. Another seller from France who sold this album without the original record cover said that as only the sleeve is missing, I would guess that this is one of the LPs which highly controversial cover has been destroyed by customs officers when shipped outside South America. From these statements, it's easy to understand that a significant number of covers and records have been destroyed, which makes the album even rarer. You will find a few copies floating around still, but expect to pay between $550 and $650 for it. As I wrap this video up, I'd like to say that Pele was a special person and artist. He gave a lot to this edgy art form, but in the end, like a lot of others, he lost the battle with his demons. Let's remember him for what he had to offer. That's it for today. Hit the subscribe and notification button. In exchange, I will offer you some important stories and information for Metal Vinyl Records and Metal Vinyl reviews from important metal releases. As it happens in life, some stories will be sad, some stories will be happy, but all will be interesting as metal music. Thanks for watching. Enjoy music, enjoy life, enjoy vinyl. See you all in the next video. Bye.